Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the Rose Theater, here at Jazz at Lincoln Center, here in New York City. Tonight, Jon Hendricks is going to celebrate his 90th birthday in style with some great jazz luminaries as well as family to bless the stage to celebrate his music as well as his life. I sat down and broke bread with Mr. Hendricks, and we talked about the origins of song, him growing up in Ohio, as well as the groundbreaking group that he was a part of during the late 1950s into the early 60s, Lambert Hendricks Ross, which broke new territory for vocalese jazz.
Come on home. Happy work to stay. Baby, tell me come home. Living alone is so lonely. I never should have come you away. I really did regret. You brought my love alive. You got me so upset. I forgot you was really shy. Still when I took you in, my heart was ruining me. Finally I put you out, cause you only was fooling me. But if you're born again, and you need a friend, come on home. I know you ain't no good, I know your ways are bad. I'd quit you if I could, but without you I'm going mad. I'm hoping every day, maybe you'll settle down, cause I'm in love with you, and I ain't about to turn around. So if you're born again, and you need a friend, come on home.
Congratulations, you just turned 90 years old, and you are here tonight and tomorrow. You're going to be celebrating what is the 90th birthday performance with some very good friends. How did you put this together?
The vocal part of it, we've been singing together for some years now. We're known as Lambert Hendricks and Ross Redo, R-E-D-U-X, the French word meaning over again. And so we've been working quite a while like that.
You know what I noticed in rehearsal, that you are performing some songs that, you know, Lambert Hendricks and Ross was very, very known for, but also the musicians that are in your band are putting a very modern and contemporary twist to the song.
Yes, they are, and that's very creative of them, because I didn't insist on that or even suggest it. They felt it themselves. They felt that for the new market, the current market, we should make the tunes as acceptable as possible.
You know, the one thing that you have done throughout your career, I mean, your career spans some over 70 years, both on the writing side as far as the lyrics, very witty, very, very unconventional at the time, but also the vocalese style. You've been able to fuse both of them.
Well, that's what I want to do. I want to make vocalese what it is. It's a more jazz-based way of doing everything. Like singing should always, if it's rhythmic tune, include scatting. You know, and even if the tune isn't rhythmic, you should be able to hum something rhythmic if you're really into the music.
Wow.
Your beginnings start in Toledo, Ohio, and your father was a minister, and you grew up in a very large family.
17. 14, let me see, this is ninth child, seventh son. How many boys were there? 12 boys, 3 girls, 15 children.
And might I ask, of all of them who are still living, how many are still alive?
1 girl.
And how old is she?
How old is old me? She must be about 40, 45, maybe 50. Yeah.
How did you get into music? I mean, your father was a disciplinarian, but he's also a person who was very dear friends with the legendary Fats Waller.
Well, my father, Reverend Hendricks, he was a minister in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, A.m.E. He and Reverend Thomas Waller went to, what do you call that school for ministers? Seminary. The Methodist Seminary in Richmond, Virginia. They went together, and they graduated from there together. And my father, when he moved to Ohio, he completed what he had left in Virginia at Wilberforce.
So I understand that when he used to come to Toledo, he used to come and see you guys.
Fats Waller. Yes. Fats, his father said, Reverend Hendricks is in Toledo. So you be sure and you stop and see Reverend Hendricks, otherwise I'll bust you upside your head. So Fats would always come, and this one time he came, he was drinking 5th of gin a day. Incredible. But then you look at the man, this man was this wide. His waistline must have been 45. It's a big cat. And jolly and full of fun, you know. And so he couldn't drink in my father's house, so he got one of my little companions to stand outside the window at my father and he was sitting at, you know, this is the springtime. And then, so Fats said, just a minute, Reverend, and my father bowed said, and Fats would open up the window and lean out, take a swig. And I'm like this. I sneak out of the room and go into the kitchen. I go, well, I could crack up, boys, some funny stuff. And my father would just do this. You know, until it passed. It was so funny.
When you guys formed Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, what was it that vocal jazz or just vocalists in general were missing? There were some missing ingredients, and you guys kind of put a little oregano, you put a little nutmeg in there, and you guys came up with something that was very innovative.
We put oregano. Well, I think that Dave and Annie were trepidatious, because there hadn't been a group, an interracial group formed like that before in this country, and they were kind of they were wondering about it, and so I just figured I'm going to lay down the law here. Here we are starving. Annie's eating because she's on TV show, Patrice Mansell's TV show on ABC. She was earning money from that, and all the mafia guys that owned the jazz clubs were taking her out to dinner in the high class restaurants. She was cool, but Dave and me were starving. So I figured, well, I picked up the downbeat, and our album was number 13. Jazz album and downbeat 13. That had never happened before. So I said, look here, this is incredible. Let's go sing. And Annie looked at Dave, and Dave looked at Annie, and it was like this. You're like, crazy. And I went on with, I saw what I was up against, so I called Monty Kay, who managed the Modern Jazz Quartet. And Monty says, yeah, I said, well, look, I'd like you to come over tomorrow morning to our rehearsal and hear us, what we've done, and I'll get you a copy of the album. And so I got him the copy of the album, and I took it up to his house and gave it to him. And the next morning, he came over, and he had heard the album. And he says, wow, that's going to be a great act, And he said, I think this should be heard by Willard Alexander, who books Basie, and Benny Goodman. So I said, yeah, I think so too. And so he arranged an audition with Willard at studio on 57th Street, and we sang a couple tunes. Every Day I Have the Blues and Avenue C. And Willard fell off his chair. I never saw anybody do that. He laughed so loud, he just he fell over. His chair fell over, and we had to pick him up off the floor. He said, "That's sensational." And Monty says, "Well, what do you think?" And Willard says, "I'll have them working in 2 weeks." Yes. Whoa. And so Dave and I and Annie really began to rehearse, and sure enough, he had us working, and in 6 months we were booked for the whole rest of the year.
That record was also the first time that you guys overdubbed. You guys used overdubs for that.
Yeah, the first time that had ever happened. Well, Dave did all that. Dave Lambert was a genius. He invented multi-tracking. That's his thing. Now people multi-track all the time. Most commercials are made with multi-tracking in them nowadays, you know. But Dave invented that. He made his own radio. He didn't go to the store and buy a cheap radio. He got some wood and made a box, and got some wires and some tubes, and made his own radio. Got a dial system. He was a genius. And we started working, and we started working everywhere. Every place we ever dreamed of working, we began to work in it.
Wow. Screaming next to wheels, and then they got into something. I is doing me that, do not go, make me that, something, suddenly walk, and then they got into something. And it's stuck with you, but to be a time when we, find that cup, nobody come, but we down like me. Oh, opening string, not a scene, make me think about something, suddenly it walk, then got into something.
You just recorded your latest album, High Fly, on Mack Avenue Records with the legendary Jon Hendricks as one of your special guests. What was it like recording with him, and also recording and now performing with him tonight?
Man, it's a trip, and I'm not even over it. Recording with him was a blessing. Performing him might have even been more special, just because all the luminaries on stage and seeing Jon make music in his element, and just being able to share a moment of that, very special for me.
What does Jon Hendricks mean to just the American songbook and just jazz music?
Folks can't really know about jazz vocals without knowing about Jon Hendricks. You know what I mean? He's inspired a whole legion of people, even if they don't know that it is jazz, even if it's just they're thinking about words, they're thinking about poetry, they're thinking about bebop, certainly things inside of jazz. And, you know, for the singing, for the voice, for the lyrics, and for the delivery, the whole package, you know, you can't beat him. And he's still going today. He's right over there. He's signing autographs, and you can't get him to sit down. It's amazing. So I'm really happy about it.
Fires, the sights, Mr. Brooks, being Max, something, those potatoes on. And you'll stir your little baby, time plenty, plenty. Like that man, nobody put you down like me, like me. Oh, me, on the street, how did you see? Play the thing, mom, something, oh, hey, mom. Don't pay some bling, bling, bling.
Tell me about the first time you met Jon Hendricks, and what are your reflections of him as a person as well as his spirit as a musician?
Well, I think I met the group, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, around 1960 or 59 or 60, somewhere like that, when they came to Philadelphia to play at the Peps bar, which was a nice club. It wasn't strictly a bar. And, well, my family, being into the music, invited some of the people in the group to the house to have some food or to just hang. And, you know, and Jon, to me, has always been a person who loved our music and was able to put a lyric to some of the great solos that have been played by the giants of my time. And I don't think anybody else could have done any better or as much in that direction as Jon Hendricks has done. And Annie was a good friend, having been hooked up with Kenny Clark at that time. And Dave, I had seen him and probably heard him before with previous groups. But when they got together, it was quite an exciting group of people who really loved the music and presented it with so much taste and class. I mean, to put a lyric to Charlie Parker's solos, and, you know, I'm in love with these kind of really beautiful musical statements that they could make, and to put a lyric to it was something I wish I could have done.
So tell me about how you got into wanting to sing, because I understand that another icon used to be your teacher, Mr. Art Tatum.
Yes, and well, he was my teacher secularly. In church, my mother used to hold my hand, and when she wanted me to sing, she'd squeeze my hand, and then I would sing a third above my mother. I caught the tenor part right away. I have a good ear for harmony. I can sing any harmonic line, you know, that you want. Sometimes even bass, you know. But while I was singing in church with my mother, she taught me all the spirituals, you know, and actually jazz came from the spirituals. So there's always a relationship to be found there, you know. The blues ain't nothing but spirituals with secular words.
As I remember the last time we talked, you told me about how spirituals really was the connection and the root of how the black experience had to communicate. I mean, whether it was through the slave trade, through Jim Crow, through various periods of black culture and our black vernacular, you said it was very important.
Very important, because it was actually like a language that we could speak that other people here in America who spoke English couldn't speak. You know, we could learn English, and we learned it quickly. We learned English with a rapidity that defies any other ethnic or cultural group in the history of this planet. There's been no group since taken as a group into a country and told you can only speak English or Swedish or, you know, and otherwise you have to die because you can't communicate, you know. So we learned English right away, and we not only learned it, we made it much more hipper language than they speak it. You know, they say, "What's the matter with you?" And we say, "Smack you." That's much hipper.
So do you think that through modern black music, I mean, because blues and jazz wasn't modern until like the 30s and 40s. Yeah. Do you think that the song really is the root of just everyday life? Because you've written some very prolific songs to some great jazz standards.
True, but I had to really do a kind of a personal research on those songs, you know, that I wrote. because I couldn't say anything that was not true about the subject I was writing. You know, like Miles's 4. I felt that 4 has to be 4 spiritual ideas that would fit into that song.
Because when I hear songs that you have done, that you guys have made popular, like Moanin' and High Fly and John Brown's Body, I mean, there's some very personal and very political sentiments in those records also.
Oh yeah. John Brown was a most remarkable man. This is one of our greatest heroes, but he's not a black man. And so a lot of us sleep on John Brown. John Brown sacrificed 2 of his grown children and his own life, fighting for not his own cause or money, but for our cause. Remarkable man. I would like to have met John Brown, but he was way before our time. But if you go back and see what he did, it's amazing. This man was against what this country was doing with this African-based people. And he gave his life and the life of 2 of his sons in the battle against it. That's pretty good.
I work for everything ain't right. People are hurting, everyone's uptight. Can't stand this madness, 'cause I'm much too cool. Somebody tell me the truth. Yeah, somebody tell me like a T.I. is now. Yeah, somebody tell me the truth one time. Oh, somebody.
This is Kevin Fitzgerald Burke to say happy 90th birthday to Big J, the giant, the maestro, my mentor, and my hero. No one is like John, lyricist, composer, scatter, and entrepreneur. Big J, happy birthday. Love you, babe.
Wishing you a happy birthday, all the best, and many more. Take care and keep doing it.
Happy birthday, John. So happy to spend this 90th year with you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful performance tonight and a wonderful year, and I wish you all the best and a great, great, great many more years of music making. Thanks.
I'd like to say happy birthday to Jon Hendricks and to tell him that I would love to be where he is. I'm at 85 now, and I'm striving to get to where he is on 90th Street, because 90th Street is further uptown than 85th. And that's what I'm striving for, to be just like him. Now, I want to be like him when I grow up.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the Rose Theater, here at Jazz and Lincoln Center, here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank and congratulate Mr. Jon Hendricks on his 90th birthday, as well as his contributions to jazz, as well as all the participants involved in this special event, including Mr. Jimmy Heath, Diane Reeves, as well as Bobby McFerrin and Sasha Valsandani. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column, as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.
I'm smiling gently as I reach September. Oh, September of my